Everything is awesome.
What a great song, to be honest.
Everything is cool and you're part of the team. This is our new intro. Everything is awesome when you're living the dream. All right.
In Prithian.
Yeah. Cauldron. Cheers.
Cheers. Okay, hello and welcome. I say as Morgan's taking a gulp.
I'm ready.
To It's Fate. I'm Katie Christiansen.
I'm Morgan Barker.
Welcome to episode 29.
29?
I don't know what that's from.
New Girl.
Oh.
Schmidt when he turns 29. Which, like, I feel like he was very old in that moment.
He looks older than 29.
Yes. But, like, when I watched the show for the first time, I was like, 29, old. Well, guess who's 29 now? Me.
Yeah, you. Me too. Don't worry.
Oh, yeah, you too. I forget. I know I'm older than you, and I always think I'm, like, a year or so older than you, but I'm literally 2 months older than you.
It's, like, not older than
It's
me at all.
because Dana
is, like, a year.
is a year, but her birthdays are in between us.
Yeah.
So it just throws me off.
Yeah, she's just the baby.
All right. Our outfits.
Yeah.
So we are kind of doing like a silvery blue flame for Nesta's flames because, you know, when fire gets so hot it burns, it's like silver blue.
Yeah. I didn't really have silver, but this has like a silver sheen.
Yeah. It works. We're trying here, guys.
There's only so many clothes I have.
I know. We're both repeating here. We are outfit repeaters, just like Lizzie McGuire, so don't come for us.
I'm always an outfit repeater.
Me too.
I have the Pequot.
Yes.
The personal question of the episode.
I love that you always clarify.
In case someone is a new listener.
No, I like it. I also know that you don't like the acronym, so it's cute. You're like Pequot. Personal question of the episode.
I like the acronym. I think it's silly.
It is.
Yeah, I like it.
Cutesy dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nesta got like really sweaty at one point, and then it reminded me of this. I was just like,
Yeah.
What is the hottest place you've ever been to?
Where we live.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think so.
Okay. Do you typically travel to colder places?
I've been to Vegas. Vegas can get hotter.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was when I was there. Yeah. I think that's it.
Okay.
Because even I went to Belize when I was younger, but it's by the coast. So even though it's like further south,
like equator, right?
it just didn't feel as hot to me.
Yeah.
And I also went in January. So, but maybe that would be the hottest place. It just wasn't that hot when I was there.
Yeah.
So, what about you?
South Carolina.
Is it hot? I've been to South Carolina. I was there last summer.
Yeah, it's first of all beautiful. If you've never been,
oh my gosh,
highly
it's
recommend.
so unique. Like the landscape, it's like marsh, beach.
Wow,
it's so cool.
I was in like a swamp.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know what? Now that I think about it, yes, that might be the same for me as well. I just forget because I feel like we live in such a freaking disgustingly hot place, and I have like really passionate anger towards it. And so I'm just like, we live in the butthole of the world.
No, I don't think that's true.
It's not.
Yeah.
But
you feel that way. It gets really hot. That's the thing, is it gets really hot here. So.
And we're always here.
So we went in August.
I was in July last year.
We went in August, or like it was like the end of July in August. And we were mostly by the beach, but we did go to like the swamp at one point. I was still very Mormon at this time, so I was wearing like Mormon underwear, which if you don't know is basically like a t-shirt and like boxer briefs.
Yeah.
So I was essentially wearing 2 t-shirts,
2 layers,
and like a skirt, it was fine, but it was so hot.
Yes.
It was like during the time where the babies like were born.
Oh.
And they were like, well, make sure there's always an adult with the children because the alligators will go after the children. And I was like, why are we here?
Why? That's exactly what I was saying. What are you doing?
Then we went on a boat ride. And it wasn't like.
With the alligators?
Yes. And we were the ones like oaring, paddling. God, struggling. Paddling away. Like,
No.
Yeah. It was very, very hot.
No.
I was wearing 2 sets of shirts. It was not.
No, I didn't go near any alligators when I was there, but I did go to this state park. I can't remember what it was called, but it was like a swamp beach situation. not really a swamp, but I just remember wearing a dress because I'm like, I need airflow.
Yeah.
And being the stickiest I have ever been.
I was so sweaty.
So sweaty.
Like every single pore was sweating.
You're right. I think that might be it for me as well.
It left an impression in my brain. Obviously did not leave an impression
I
in my
blocked it out, I guess. It was that bad. You also had alligators, which like I feel like makes it more memorable.
It was and then I had my nephew, like I was on the side of the boat and I had my nephew with me. I thankfully I didn't have to paddle, but I was like, do not move, because you will fall in and
be eaten
and I will be eaten. No,
that's like a real thing though. Did you hear about? It was last summer when I was in South Carolina. I learned about this. There was a soccer player that like jumped off of something into a river and was immediately eaten by an alligator. Like a giant one.
That's really scary.
And people were posting videos of it online. Yeah.
I have a fear of being eaten alive, so.
Oh my gosh, let's move on.
Terrible.
Okay, into the recap. So we left off when Nesta passed out after slaying the Kelpie and returning to the surface of the bog. So we're in chapter 37 now. Bog.
Yeah.
Every time. In the Hewn City, the inner circle could not get anything out of the Autumn Court soldier because Azrael took the Autumn Court soldiers to the Hewn City where he tortures them. So he couldn't get anything out of them, and they are now kind of just discussing what happened with Nesta.
When Reese tried to read the Audicum...
Audicum?
Oh my goodness. Guys, we record these on a Monday, and I work Mondays. And I feel like I do this every episode where, like, I try to talk and it just doesn't come out.
I'm struggling every day, not just today.
Every day.
It makes for some giggles. I like it.
Okay. Reese tried to read the Autumn Court's soldiers' minds.
Okay, that is a mouthful.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're not alone there.
But he said there was like nothing but like mist and fog. And I was like, what is this? Have we seen magic like this before?
I don't think so. Do you remember what this is? What's happening to them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just making sure.
I just was like,
right. Like
it's
what?
Interesting. How
right,
does it work?
No, because the only other thing that I remember of like, well, Reese can like control people's minds, but it's different. Mm-hmm. It's like I don't know, it's just different. And then I think of like being blood sworn in Throne of Glass, but that's also different.
Yeah, or even like when people were like possessed in Throne of Glass, they were still like there, but they were possessed by something.
But we also never saw like anybody go into their mind, so I don't know. I wonder what that would have looked like.
Yeah, it's true. Feyre was there when Azrael was torturing the soldiers. Like she watched.
Yeah.
Why do you think she wanted to be there?
I don't know. Maybe she's like a little
freak,
kinky.
She's like, do this to me later.
Snap off my fingers. They'll grow back eventually.
They would.
Yeah, they're like lizards, the Fae.
I'm sorry. I
just looked at me like, oh, you're crazy.
I guess I never thought about that before.
Don't they grow their tails back?
Their tails? They have
lizards.
Tails?
No, lizards.
Oh, I thought you were talking about I was like, what? The fairies?
You didn't pick up on that? They've had tails this whole time. What was the question?
Why would Feyre want to be there during the torture?
Oh, I don't know. I have a thought, not the dark kinky thing, but maybe it was like because they potentially hurt Nesta, even though they didn't directly hurt her. I don't know if she like wanted to. I have no idea. Trying to take more of a high lady role.
Yeah, I know. I wonder if she was just kind of interested in them because they were so like not there.
Yeah. Like what's happening.
Yeah.
Even though Reese heavily warded the mask once they got back, the mask called to Nesta and she was able to move right past the wards. And so it's mentioned that maybe Nesta could like ward the mask so that nobody else, even like maid people, can access it. And Nesta mentions that she failed previously when trying to master her power. And Feyre comments on this and seems surprised that Nesta believes she failed. And I like this little insight because it shows us that even, like, it just shows us how locked up Nesta has been and how misunderstood she's been by the group, but not really at the fault of the group. It's like Farah does not even realize how deep this goes for Nesta, but I think it's because of this huge front and facade that Nesta has put on. Like, I don't even think Farah realized that Nesta could care enough to call something like that a failure. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. And I think it gives Farah some insight that, like, Nesta really, really cares and she really doesn't want to mess up. So she'll just, like, not do it.
And I think Farah's learning that in this moment here.
I think so, too.
Yeah.
Cassian notices that Nesta was looking for him in, like, the group when, like, they came in. And she was, like, checking. She, like, scanned to make sure he was hurt. I'm like, oh, my God. I love this.
The scan.
Like,
oh, my gosh, do you have any wounds?
I love him, like, seeing the little, like, moments like this. I love the little
picking
tidbits.
up on that. Yeah.
Reese told Cassian, like, in his brain, like, you wear your heart on your sleeve. And he's like, I don't care. Whatever. Everyone can see it. I love this moment. What trope is this? Because I love it. What is the trope of, like...
That's a great question. Yeah. Treating a female like a queen, simping after a female. I don't know.
Just being so in love.
Yeah. There has to be a trope for it.
I think so too. Maybe
playing easy to get.
I love the easy to get. Maybe there's, like, a part of me that, like I like Cassian more than Reese. But maybe it's because, like, Reese kind of had to be mean to Farah a little bit to begin with.
Interesting.
And, like, I love Reese.
Right.
Yeah. But, like, I don't know. Maybe it's like, I'm just like, no, I just never want you to be ever mean to me, ever.
I get that. See, I mean, just like I like Cassian and I like Nesta too. But I feel like I'm more of, like, a Farah Reese stan and you're more Cassian Nesta. I love the element of how, like, Reese had to hide it. And I think it's so romantic that even though he, like, had to do things that came off of negative, he was doing it for her all along. And, like, it's just, see, it's so interesting. There's a trope for everybody out there.
There is.
And I love both. Like, I really do love both. And both are romantic.
I think maybe just because, like, more storylines are written like Reese and Farah. So it's nice to get, like, he's just in love with you.
And I think it's an added element in this story specifically because Nesta comes off as so unlovable.
Yeah.
And he's just like, nope.
Yeah. I love it.
Nesta allows Reese to look into her mind to see what the Kelpie said to her because apparently it talked. Forgot about that. And it turns out that people used to sacrifice to the Kelpie and it thought that Nesta was another sacrifice. And Amren tells us that the Kelpies do not breed. They were made to rape and kill, but I guess they don't belong in jail. And Nesta may have killed the last one. Do you feel like there's, like, more significance to this monster, or is this just a little, like, interesting tidbit about Prithian's history?
I think it definitely is, like, because we're starting to get more into Prithian history, especially, like, we find out more in Crescent City 3. But I feel like there's going to be, like, there's more and more coming out. I feel like as this series gets on, of course, we start learning more about the history. But I feel like there is a little bit of significance. The Kelpie specifically said that it was made from the hand of a cruel god. And I was like, what does this mean? And I was like, maybe from, like, hell?
Maybe.
In Crescent City, there's, like, a hell. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I feel like this should be important.
Excuse me. I agree. It just feels like I like learning about the little interesting bits of history, and some authors, that's all it is. But I feel like with SJM, it's not. Like, there's just so much purpose. But we also look into a lot of things because so often she has a reason behind it. But
yeah, I feel like it's either, like, really obvious or it's not.
Yeah.
Or I'm just not paying attention.
Same. So they stay in the Hewn City Palace that night, and Nesta and Cassian get intimate.
Tyrant the scene.
He read it.
He read it. He also read the scene from last episode.
Michael read the scene from last episode too.
It's a good scene.
Yeah. I've been enjoying being like, okay, you read this.
Nesta takes a bath before they have sex. Unlike Reese and Vera, Nesta wants to be a clean girl. I mean, not that she knows that's going to happen.
I am pro cleaning yourself before and after.
Good hygiene.
Well, I mean, like,
Yeah.
if you're covered in
Blood
and guts, please
Single
rinse
line?
off.
Yeah.
Like, just a little bit.
She described the mask as making her feel as like a being of unfeeling who like didn't understand love or hate or fear or grief. And it just reminded me, it sounds very similar to like what Amren was before she became like Fae.
Yeah. That's an
Maybe
interesting
something she could like talk to
point.
Amren about if they ever talk to each other. I don't know.
They never will. I mean, they eventually make up, I think.
Midway through their little lovemaking session, they don't love make. They're like going at it.
But it is.
It is at the same time.
It's passionate. I like it.
I like it too. Nesta notices that Cassian like is about to say something, but like she cuts him off with a kiss because she says she doesn't want to know whatever he was going to say.
Yeah.
What was he going to say?
Okay, remind me. Is this after they agree that it's just going to be sex? Like, what has happened already? They've just kissed? They've touched? They've licked?
They agree that it was just going to be sex, but they're like midway having sex, and he like looks like he's going to say something.
Oh, he's going to say like, I love you. I guarantee.
Yeah, I guarantee too.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm like, Nesta, let him say it.
I feel like she would have been freaked out.
Yeah.
So it's good. It was good. Yeah. So like we just said, Nesta makes Cassian agree that this is just sex and can be nothing more. But then afterwards, Cassian leaves immediately, and Nesta is like all butthurt, and it's kind of like, I thought we would at least cuddle, which was really cute. So she questions why he did this. Do you think this was just to like show her kind of like a little, okay, I'll show you just sex?
No, Cassian is not like that.
Really? I felt like it was.
To me, it says he looked devastated when he grabbed his clothes.
Yes, but I felt like it was like, yeah, okay, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Not like a petty moment, but like a, okay, you want just sex? Like,
okay,
I'm going to leave because that's what this is. Like,
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
He was just like, yep, like that, this is what you asked for. That's what I'm going to do. But Nesta is like me, where I want you to read my mind. And
yes.
when I say something,
doesn't matter what I said. You should know what I want.
I don't mean it. Sometimes I really just want you to like chase after me and like really.
Doesn't he know?
Doesn't he know to read my mind?
Come on.
Come on.
But she hates that other people can read her mind.
I know.
So
I know. But I just thought it was funny. I was like, Nesta, girl, yeah.
She's just pulling a classic.
Yeah.
A classic lady move.
In the next chapter, Emery and Gwen can tell something has happened between Nesta and Cassian.
I loved this.
There's a lot of teasing taking place until Cassian starts training Nesta with a wooden sword for the first time.
And my goodness, who knew there could be so many sexual innuendos around swordplay? Learned a lot. Nesta realizes that when she picks up the wooden sword, this moment is very vital because at this point there are lots of priestesses who have joined and they're all watching her as she moves, and she chants to herself, never again, over and over. And I got emotional for her and the others, and I just felt and feel like in that moment I was thinking not just about these fictional characters, but just about real women in our everyday world who don't know how to defend themselves. I don't know how to defend myself. But like who are in Nesta and Emery and Gwen's shoes. They really are. It's just kind of a powerful moment.
It was a really powerful moment. I'm really glad that a lot of the priestesses were able to see that too. And like
Nesta knew this is a big deal.
Yeah. When she first gets the sword and she holds it up, she describes it as a key to the lock. She likes swords.
Are you making a sexual innuendo?
No, but
no, I think it's like she's unlocking
power.
Yeah, and
autonomy.
Just, exactly.
Yeah.
So once again, more priestesses show up to training. So Cassian decides to bring in Azriel to help train. And later, Gwyn and Nesta attempt a Valkyrie practice called mind stilling. And this is kind of the beginning of them wanting to embody the Valkyries.
Mm-hmm. There's a little scene where Nesta's doing her little stair descent.
I forgot she still does this.
I know, me too. I always forget. I'm like, oh yeah, she's doing this. And she starts thinking to herself how much she wants to be strong and how like she wants to be able to fight back. And I love these little moments in this book where you're seeing her like heal and choosing like good for herself. Like, yeah. I feel like so many moments she's being like self-destructive that it's just wonderful to see like the choices she makes that are like good.
Yeah,
you know?
I agree. While Nesta is mind stilling, her mind wanders a bit and she makes a comment to herself that Gwyn is her friend, and she herself is like, she's my friend. Yeah. Like she's kind of shocked by this. And do you think that Gwyn is Nesta's first friend?
Yeah.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Can you imagine fighting your first friend ever as somebody? I mean, Nesta's in her mid to late 20s.
No.
That would be, yeah.
How would you even know how to be a friend?
Yeah. Well, we see that, you know?
Yeah.
She also continually thinks about her sisters and keeps coming back to this idea that everyone chose Farah over her. And this, once again, just makes me really sad. And we've talked about this because even by the end of the book, like, I believe their relationship is better, but they are not, like, super close. And even as Nesta heals, she still kind of sees Farah as this person that reminds Nesta of all her bad choices. And she can't let that go. And it just made me sad.
It does make me sad. I don't know why she feels like Farah. I wonder if it's because like she sees Farah as like goodness and like kind of like the opposite of her.
Yeah.
So it just like she's always like pitting herself against her. I'm like, it doesn't have to be that way.
I know.
It really doesn't.
I know. It's really a bummer.
In chapter 40, Cassian takes Nesta to see a blacksmith who lets her attempt at sword making.
Yes.
And the next day at training, Nesta punches a block of wood until she burns through it and it turns to ash.
Casual. Oh, my goodness. I know. So with both of these moments, Nesta kind of keeps saying like she's had this fire in her blood since she first started swordplay. And it seems like up until now, she's been able to keep her powers at bay, and training has actually been helping her do that. Why do you think they've sparked again? It seems like it's kind of changed.
I wonder if she has like an outlet for the power. You know, like it's like another object to like channel the like her power through.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just something new.
A flaming sword would be cool.
It would be cool.
That doesn't happen, does it?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't remember.
When she's punching the block, Lucien comes to see how Nesta is doing, which was just felt kind of random.
It was really weird.
Yeah.
I'm like, why?
I guess Farah was like, go check in.
But
why? Why him?
I don't know. It was strange.
And there seems to be some tension between him and Cassian. What do you think this is about?
I don't think Cassian trusts Lucien at all.
Interesting.
Still.
What if Lucien is a
traitor?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Who knows?
I hope he isn't. I really like Lucien.
I do too, but it would be fine with me.
Lucien wonders if training Nesta is a good idea because he doesn't think her power should be woken. I'm like, did you not learn anything about like that with Farah?
Yeah, I'm like, okay, Tamlin, shut up.
Literally the same thing with Farah. I'm like, you learned your lesson, I thought. Apparently not.
Also, why shouldn't we teach her to control her power? They all have powers. They all know that if you don't, like, they will build up.
And it's a risk.
Yes.
It's such a risk. I love how sassy Lucien's mechanical eye is. It's always like clicking and whirring.
I never even thought about this.
Depending on his mood, it's like clicking, whirring away.
I love it.
It'll like click at people if he's being like, if they're like, if he's being sassy.
I have not even noticed that, but I love it.
You need to
I love that
notice
you noticed it. Okay, I will start from here on out. So Helion then arrives at the night court on his Pegasus.
Ooh.
And cues the wards around the mask to Nesta's blood. And they also realize that Queen Bee has the crown, which explains that why the Autumn Court soldiers were the way they are. A lot happens here. And Farrah and Rhys tell Azriel to pull himself and all of his spies from spying on her because it's too dangerous.
On the queen.
On the queen, yes.
A little moment.
I saw this and didn't note it because I was like, Katie's going to note it. Katie's going to note it, and I want to hear her thoughts.
Helion picks lint off himself when learning that Mor was not there. And I feel like SJM's character does do this.
Sorry.
It's okay. I feel like SJM's characters do this when they're like hiding something. Okay. I know there's been theorized that it's because of like sexual trauma, but I'm thinking Aelin does this a lot in Throne of Glass when she's like trying to be arrogant, but like in her dialogue, she's trying to hide something.
Rhys kind of does it when he's trying to be arrogant too. And didn't you say Tharion does it?
Tharion does it. I'm trying to think. Oh, I think Lysandra does it too. Maybe. I don't know.
I don't remember her doing it. I feel like I remember you bringing that up though.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, it was like, interesting.
Yeah, just a little tidbit. Cassian has a moment where he's really jealous of Feyre and Rhys for their connection and feels really sad that Nesta just wants sex, which I think is really ironic because Feyre and Rhys started by being just sex too.
Yep.
I wonder if Elaine will also be just sex first.
That would surprise me, honestly. I feel like she is very much... I mean, anything could happen.
Yeah.
But Nesta and Farrah are both more like unconventional. I'm going to do what I want.
I feel like they hide their feelings too. I feel like Elaine's a little bit more
hard on her sleeve. She is much more traditional, which is fine. We see that. And much more of like a romantic, I feel like.
Yeah.
Even though Nesta and Farrah are romantic too, Elaine is very openly. She's like, you know, like she was with Grayson, but she really loved him and it was because she was going to marry him. And so I feel like it'll be a little bit more, who knows though?
She's a wild side maybe.
Yeah, who knows? So Helion, when he sees the mask, he has a reaction to it and he says its cold claws rake down his senses, but it doesn't do this to others. And he even said like, you don't feel that? And everyone's like, no, like we sense its presence, but that's it. What do you think this could mean?
I wonder if it's because he's like a spell breaker and you can like feel like the magic spell.
Interesting.
Because it like gives people in a trance, right? Like people have been like they can't take it off. Like most people have never been able to take it off once it has them. So I wonder if that's
a good guess.
Or if it's just like something else with his magic that's
I don't know
interacting.
And then he later says something that makes it seem like something's going on in his court. Like Rhys says something going on at home and they like walk away talking about it and we never find out. And I never even paid attention to that tidbit because I've always been so focused on like the main storyline.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, I was like, and then they just walk, like it's what I said, and then they walk away beginning to chat and like Helion looked at Rhys in a certain way or something like that. I'm like, what's happening? What's happening over at the day court? My court.
Your court.
I need to know. Stop keeping secrets from me, Helion.
He doesn't love you.
That's fine.
Maybe it's like a partnership.
As long as I can have a mister. Is that what they call it? You know, mistress for men?
No, it's not called that because you can have a lover.
Fine.
Yeah.
I just need my lover.
Who is?
Rhys.
No, the guy with the white hair. Callius.
Oh, no. He's married, but
oh, yeah. Well,
Tarquin.
That's
Wouldn't
what
that be
of.
Some political craziness?
Drama?
I know.
Everyone wants those summer court.
I gotta
males.
write some fanfic. This is with me as the lead character.
Your name?
Yeah.
Y/N. Rhys and Amren and Cassian and Azriel all gathered to discuss the blades that Nesta forged because it like infused with her power.
Yes.
Which is also the cauldron's power, and she essentially created like her own trove.
Wild.
We also learned that Rhys has not found a way to help Feyre survive childbirth, and still has not told her about the actual risks.
Don't love that.
No.
Okay, what do you think of Amren's attitude here when she says not to tell Nesta about the blades? I know that she and Nesta are in a feud, but they were very recently friends, and she is being so mean.
I'm just confused about, like, sometimes I think that, like, Nesta's, like, so evil. I'm like, is she mean? Yes. But she's not, like, evil.
There's a very big difference. And that's why we got upset, which a lot of people came at us, whatever, for being upset with Moore. Apparently, we're not allowed to be upset with her or any female.
Apparently, that makes us homophobic and misogynistic.
I mean, obviously. Anyway, when Moore compared her to people in the Court of Nightmares, I'm like, she's not evil just because she's mean. And that's why I was like, now Moore's being mean. I didn't like it.
I didn't like it either.
I don't like when Nesta's mean either.
No. Amren saying, like, what if she's in one of her moods and Nesta just, like, wants to spite them because she's in this mood. Then later on she says Nesta would create not a dread trove but a trove of nightmares. Nesta doesn't even want to know how to access the mask.
I know.
Why are you then claiming that she's going to use these weapons to kill you?
I know. Just because she is mean doesn't mean she's a murderer.
No, like, from, like, just because she's mad at you.
Yeah.
She has murdered before.
Well, yeah, but she's murdered the one that everybody else wanted to murder, and then the Kelpie to save her own life.
Justified.
I'm sorry. It's really ridiculous.
Yeah.
So we learn about 2 other magical objects that were made with the cauldron's power. One was called Gwydion, and this is a sword that disappeared after the last High King was betrayed by his queen. But to avoid spoilers for the Massiverse, I'm going to talk later about it in Connecting the Cosmos, because I feel like it's just easier for people to skip. Okay. But the other was called Narbin, which is...
I'm sorry.
Narbin, right? I know.
Name.
A lot of these are.
Yeah.
Right? Was that how you would say it? Narbin?
Yeah.
Narbin. The other was called Narbin, which is rumored to have been destroyed by Amarantha. But the way she destroyed it was by throwing it in the sea. That's not how you destroy things.
It's just lost.
It's just lost. And I feel like there is more to the story.
I did a little name quarter on Gwydion.
Okay.
And I absolutely regret it.
Oh, no.
He was a Celtic deity.
Okay.
He was the master of magic and poetry.
Okay.
This is a little trigger warning for sexual assault for anyone. Okay. Skip like 15 seconds. He assisted in raping his uncle's servant, and then he lived his life in punishment for it. They, like, punished him because of it. Yeah, not good. He also helped create a woman out of flowers. Kind of maybe a Lane connection. I don't know.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder, like, what his life punishment... Did they talk about that? Like, what happened?
It did. I forgot. He had to, like live with someone. Like, it wasn't bad.
A good enough punishment?
No, it was not a good enough punishment. Narbin is it's a German word, which we do have a few German listeners.
Shout out!
Yeah, so if
we're saying it wrong.
We're totally butchering it, I'm sure. It means scar.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I always am like, what is the name meaning? There's something there.
Or nothing.
But I hope there's nothing with Gwydion.
No, I hope not either.
Okay, so they're looking at the blades, right? And Amren goes on that Rhys could be High King and that the cauldron could have chosen to use Nesta to bring these blades to him, but Rhys appears adamant that he has no desire to be High King. What do you think about this? Because there's a lot of speculation in the Massiverse fandom.
First of all, I really didn't like the way she talked about basically, like, using the Archeron sisters' powers as, like, tools to get Rhys to be High King.
Yes.
That was really unsettling.
Okay, this feels like a moment, I'm like, is Amren just being this, like, very straightforward person, or could she be our Flipper? I don't know.
Flipper.
I can't think of another, what's the word I'm thinking about? Redcoat. No. That's from the war of... The Civil War?
I think
no, the Revolutionary War.
Oh.
Turncoat. That's the word I'm thinking of.
Okay.
Turncoat. Thank you. Sorry, everybody.
You're good. She mentioned that Feyre doubles Rhys's powers and Nesta makes him unstoppable. And I'm just like sick of everyone trying to use their powers as, like, pawns.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I also noticed that Amren is the only one in, like, the inner circle that seems to call Rhys by Rhysand, like his full legal name. Why do you think she does this?
I don't think they're friends. I don't know. It's just a very I feel like Nesta was her only friend. I don't know. We don't really know Amren super well still.
No.
And she clearly loves them because of what she did to sacrifice everything. Kind of. I don't really know what happened. But it's just a very interesting relationship dynamic. And I can't tell if this is her personality or if this is like
something more.
I
agree.
Then before Amren leaves, she says, "But know the cauldron's benevolence will be extended to you only for so long before it is offered to another." What?
I wonder if she's kind of hinting that like he's so powerful for a reason. And I wonder if she feels that way. Like the cauldron blessed him with all this power and like
it's going to move on eventually.
Yeah, like if you're not doing what the cauldron wants, but like what's the cauldron's will? What is the cauldron's will? I don't know.
I will die on this hill. How can you have a will and not be sentient? I don't understand. And if somebody out there does, please explain it to me. I would love to learn.
Yeah. Rhys, when they're looking at the blades, Rhys notes that the blade feels like it was like kind of like fighting his magic. And I wonder if one of the reasons why Rhys and Nesta kind of hate each other and are so repulsed by each other is because their magic doesn't seem to want to interact.
It's at odds.
Interesting. It's like a repulsion.
Huh, that's a good note. In the next chapter, Nesta and Cassian meet Eris in the spring court to discuss his soldiers, and they're confronted by Tamlin in his beast form. Later, Nesta is alone with her thoughts in the library, and then Cassian sneaks up on her and finds her there. Okay, Nesta, she totally out-talks Eris and Tamlin, and this just shows how capable and badass she can be.
Okay.
I loved it.
This is where she should be channeling her wit and her meanness and her general bitchiness. This is where she should be channeling it. This is her role.
Yes, she would be a great what is Courtier?
Courtier. I was gonna say courtesan.
See, I don't like the name Courtier.
Me either.
She would be great at this job.
Yeah,
so good at it. Okay, I have a few thoughts on Eris in this moment.
Okay.
First, he is extremely rude to Cassian and always has been. Like, so mean. They definitely go at each other, but the way Eris calls Cassian a brute, it's not like a joking, oh, you're such a brute. It's very derogatory. Don't like that. Second, the way he talks to Nesta. Did you pick up on this? Where he's basically like...
I'm trying to remember.
He's like basically telling Nesta, like, once you're done with this brute, I will show you.
That's right.
I will show you how to please a woman. Disgusting. It was so bad. And it wasn't even like that. Like, it was very also derogatory.
Yeah.
I said this in the last episode. I still think he did something to help more. I still think he's a snake and he's slimy. I don't like it. This scene really turned me off to him.
I didn't like this scene either. I love Cassian too much to like this scene.
Yes.
It just is like, I don't know.
And Cassian is like...
So
teddy bear.
Yeah.
He's a teddy bear.
Yeah. Wow, how could you be mean to him?
I know.
Yeah.
And I didn't like the way he talked to Nesta, even though I feel like Nesta can take it. Like, she can take it and she can dish it. Cassian, I feel like he's not going to let it show, but it affects him more than I think he would let on.
I think it's really lame to, like, hit on someone by putting down the person they like.
No, it was just all around.
It's like, that's what you have. That's what you're going to get. Is like, you're not even, like, Cassian's worshiping her at her feet. Why would she pick you?
Literally. Mic drop.
Get out of here, Eris. All right? I don't like you.
Same. We're done with you.
When Nesta sees Tamlin, she thinks to herself how Feyre sacrificed herself for him and how he twisted her love until she almost broke and how Nesta could never forgive him for hurting her. I wish she would just see this to Feyre's face.
This is the second moment where we're like, oh, she actually loves Feyre.
Again, yes. She calls herself a hateful, horrible coward. I'm like, thank you for knowing how much you suck.
Yeah, but do something about it.
I love her honesty, but yeah, I'm like, come on. Just, like, I love that you love your sister so much, but, like, just say it.
Just go, love you. Illy.
Nesta points at Tamlin.
Yeah.
Is he the next to go?
And then she'll make room for Gwyn to be High Lady.
Or Elaine. I want to see Elaine. Nesta at the desk court.
Okay.
Elaine at the spring court.
Okay.
They need to take someone else out, too. They need to take out Eris.
And Baron.
Lucian.
High King. High whatever.
High Lord of Autumn.
Let's just make our world.
Okay.
And everyone else can stay. We like Tarquin.
We like Tarquin. We like Helion.
We like Helion.
We like Thesan.
Yeah, we don't really know him, but we feel like we like him. That's it, right?
That's it.
Everyone's good.
And the humans are safe.
Yeah, nobody touches them.
No one touches them.
When Nesta is in the library, she stares into the pit and she sees some sort of darkness that's alive, but it goes away when Cassian gets there. I feel like we never find out what this is.
We find out what this is.
We do?
Yeah.
In this book?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me after.
Okay.
I don't want to wait.
Okay. Nesta, Emery, and Gwen learn more about the Valkyrie history from Cassian, who apparently knew them personally.
Look at that.
Yeah.
That's not like such a name drop.
Yeah. He's like, well, I know you guys are trying to channel their energy, but I actually knew them.
I know that Meryl, who descends from the Lord of the Western Wind, is trying to unearth their secrets because apparently they're so ancient that nobody knows what they did, but I was their friend. Like, why aren't you helping Meryl, Cassian?
I know, they live in the same house. Literally, they
Yeah.
just walk down the stairs. He tells them that the Valkyrie died by a suicide mission. And it really reminds me of Throne of Glass.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to mention,
I know.
just in case no one has read, but
I know.
it touched me. Nesta says that they should combine the Illyrian and Valkyrie techniques since they are the Valkyrie reborn. And she said it like felt like fate rang true.
It's fate.
It's fate. I'm just so excited for what's in store for the Valkyrie storyline because I feel like it's going to be important.
Yeah.
It better be important.
Yeah, I agree.
I love it. I love the female friendship and female empowerment.
So good.
Cassian shares about the Valkyries to the inner circle, how Nesta kind of wants to be little Valkyrie reborn. And Aline shares that Nesta is a dancer, like Feyre is an artist, and that her mother took that and honed her dancing like a weapon.
Interesting.
Feyre voted to tell Nesta about the swords because they have a little vote.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's what they decided, that they were going to tell her if Farrah would be the decider.
Yeah, and that like her magic possessed the swords basically, and turn them into magical objects. This should be surprising to no one because Feyre is always on the side of like telling people the truth.
Yeah, I feel like she's very fair.
I think it's really ironic that Feyre in this moment is voting to tell someone the truth about something, and every single one of her friends is keeping the truth about her baby and her body from her. The irony.
I know.
I'm like, come on, this is what Feyre would want.
I feel like, do you think that was purposeful by SJM?
Yeah,
Okay.
I do.
Yeah.
Do you think it was purposeful?
I don't like to think about it very hard because it makes me sad, honestly.
Yeah.
This whole plot line makes me sad. And that's why I'm like, I don't want to see Reese turn evil. I don't want to see more of this. Like, I want them to live their happily ever after.
Yeah, I wish they would have just gotten that and not have this storyline.
I don't want this. Yeah.
Yeah. Feyre then compares Nesta to a wolf, which is interesting because Feyre is often compared to a wolf by other people in the series. What do you think about this?
Have we, excuse me, I feel like we have talked about the fact that Nesta and Feyre are actually very similar. And I think Nesta hates Feyre because, or like acts like she hates her. I don't think she really hates her, but has a hard time with Feyre because she sees what she could be and she chooses to embody like the more negative side of the same traits they have. So I just think it's showing another similarity between them.
Which they are like wolves. Yeah. I feel like Elaine isn't, which is weird because she gets compared to a dog all the time, but she's not.
Yeah, I don't know what she is, because I was going to say something, but it's not kind and it's not true about her.
We don't really know her that well.
We don't know.
Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah.
Cassian notes that Nesta's judgment of Elaine being like a loyal dog was inaccurate. And Elaine saw all the things that Nesta did and just like understood her reasoning and kind of like took her for who she was.
Yeah.
And I'm really, really excited to see more about Elaine's inner thoughts about Nesta.
I am too. I'm also curious to see Elaine's inner thoughts on the whole sister dynamic. And
because she seems to be the one in the middle. She's
yes.
the one everyone wants.
But she is also like, she to me is just as at fault with how they didn't do anything to help their family survive and let Farrah take that burden on her own, even though everyone's like, but it was Elaine, so it's fine. Like, no, it wasn't fine. However, it felt like Elaine was more quick to be like, okay, we don't know the ins and outs of how her and Farrah have healed, but it seems like they've healed.
Yeah.
So,
and moved past it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, in the next chapter, Cassian tells Nesta about the magical object she made, and she gets upset that Amren voted not to tell her, and she finally makes it down the stairs. Which I don't remember this either.
That's okay. Nesta is super pissed, especially with Amren voting against her.
Yeah, I would be too.
I agree with her.
Yeah.
How do you feel about all this?
Like I said in the last couple chapters, or a couple chapters ago, I really did not like how Amren was talking about Nesta. And it feels like Amren is like the big top dog on campus. And maybe that's not even the right word. She's just like, I lost my train of thought.
Okay.
It feels like Amren is like pulling a power move here almost, of like, okay, you're gonna be mean to me, I'm gonna take you down, kind of. I'm gonna talk bad about you to which I don't know. It feels like out of character a little bit for her too, but I don't know. She's very blunt, she's very straightforward, and I guess if you cross her, they've kind of said that before, like, don't cross Amren. Nesta did, and now Amren is like, okay, she's evil. I don't know. It just feels weird.
I guess what's like frustrating is like, I mean, I get it. I get it. But like this has more to do than like your petty little friendship. Like this is someone's like life. And like this is a war. Like you're not, you can't just say these, like, just because you're mad at her that like you are also second in command of a territory. You should, you need to put your personal shit aside. Right.
Like, she is not, Nesta commented I don't remember what chapter, that Rhys is a very fair and just leader. Like, with Amren being the second, she should also embody that, and she's not. She's letting, like you just said, she's letting her issues get in the way of them making, like, really vital decisions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Nesta seeks isolation after finding out that, like, everyone hates her, basically, or, like, voted against her. I don't know. This makes me really sad. She just feels like she doesn't have anyone to go to, which isn't true, but like I can empathize with that. Like in her perspective, she doesn't feel like she has anyone safe enough to open up to about her feelings.
And she's still very much seeing things with like a 2-inch view frame. Like she's not seeing outside of that, because she's still healing. But I know, it's sad.
Yeah.
Okay. I have some connecting the cosmos, and there are spoiler alerts for House of Flame and Shadow, so just skip.
Which is the last book of Crescent City.
Yes. So the Pegasus, I think. Pegasi. You think it's Pegasi?
No.
The Pegasus, I'm just going to say Pegasus, singular. Yeah. When Helion arrives at the Night Court, Cassian gives us a little background on the rare Pegasus horses. And he says that legend has it they hailed from the island the prison is on, and one day were devoured by the sky itself. And in Crescent City 3, we learn that this is indeed true. And the Pegasus left with Thea and her daughters when they transported themselves to Midgard and were destroyed by the Asteri. How do you think some of the Pegasuses survived?
Okay, we see that sometimes, like, when the rip in the worlds happen that like not all of the species go. So I wonder if they were like not in the area.
Yeah.
Like they were, you know, I mean, they're not just going to stick to one area. So I wonder if they just didn't get sucked in.
Moments like this, though, right? It's just a little paragraph. And you just think, oh, that's weird. Interesting Prithian history. Kind of like when we talked about Nebar? Narbin. And the Kelpie. It's like interesting history, but like SJM has literally used this as a little insight to this whole other big thing. So you never know. Okay, secondly, Gwydion, which is the sword that they talked about, disappeared after the last High King was betrayed. So this is true. The queen that betrayed the High King took Gwydion to another world, which is actually the world that Crescent City takes place in. And here the sword is known as the Star Sword and belongs to whoever is starborn in Midgard. Midgard?
Yeah.
Okay. But we find out that this is the twin to Truth Teller that was made along with Truth Teller by the Cauldron to be used together to defeat a really evil species because they can kill the unkillable. Something I noticed in this book is that everyone knows Gwydion is a magic blade. And they're like, oh, there were 2 blades made by the Cauldron before. Gwydion, Narbin. Nobody talks about Truth Teller being made by the Cauldron. Do you think Asriel knows this and doesn't share? Like, how are they not sensing the Cauldron magic from this?
That's true. Well, he never really lets anyone use the knife.
Elaine. And then Nesta got to touch it too.
The Truth Teller, though, reminds me of another sword, though.
Oh.
In Throne of Glass.
Really?
That heats up. Dorian sword.
Oh.
But I don't think they're the same.
Damaris.
I don't remember the sword's name. I'm so impressed right now. I think it is Damaris.
But Truth Teller is a knife.
It is a knife. So I know. I'm like, well, how are these things kind of connected? No one does notice if Truth Teller is.
And we never find out how Asriel gets Truth Teller. At least not yet. But I feel like we're going to learn. We have to learn more about this. So I just thought that was an interesting connection.
I like that. I'm excited to see where it goes.
Everyone keeps saying an announcement's coming soon. I'm like, when? It's May. We're almost halfway through the year.
I don't believe any of those, to be honest. I'm just like...
Did you see the April Fool's one?
I think I did. What did they say?
It was the next ACOTAR book has been revealed, and it was like, it looked like it. It was green, and it was like a court of bloom and decay.
Oh.
And I fell for it. I was like, it's April 1st. They got me. They suck.
Bloom and Decay. That's kind of a good...
I know. I didn't mind it.
Good tricky.
Yeah.
Good prank. Okay. Next episode, we'll be reading chapters 46 to 55.
Yeah, we only have a couple episodes left for Silver Flames, which is crazy.
Okay, I actually had an idea. Because you haven't read Fourth Wing.
No.
Do you want to do, like, read the whole book and then just talk about it for an episode before we get into Throne of Glass?
We can try that.
Because I really want to read it.
I do too.
Should we?
Especially if it's summer and we're not working, I could probably read it fast enough.
Yeah, I
do
think
it like
so too.
in one episode. I mean, of course I can. What am I talking about? I'm a reader.
Well, you're also very busy.
I know. It's getting worse. I'm struggling. It's fine. We can talk about it later.
But yeah, it's only May now. So by the time
May's almost over too.
Yeah.
We're almost out. What do we have? 6 weeks left?
it's almost out, it's May 6th.
My last day is like June 6th. I have like a month.
Oh, my last day is June 13th.
Oh,
But
that's right. You get longer, different breaks.
Yeah.
I also only work 3 days a week, so
Yeah.
I'm like 3, 6,
No
9. Danielle,
excuses.
fine. I'm getting out of summer school on time.
I like this rap.
Thank you. In another life.
Okay. Maybe we can plan that. Because I
Okay.
really do want to read it.
Yeah, I like that idea. I know it's just been sitting on my shelf since
Same.
Christmas. So,
Yeah.
all
Okay.
right.
Well, keep an eye out for that.
Yep. Follow us on the social medias. I hate that I say that. The social medias.
TikTok it's at Fate Pod. And then
Cast.
Podcast.
Uh-huh.
And YouTube and Instagram, it's Fate Pod.
Yes. Just pod. Follow us on Apple, Spotify, YouTube. Rate, review, subscribe.
Thanks.
Bye.